I'm really excited on this interview segment where we're just covering the relationship between the psychological health of a person and how that illness or symptoms manifest as a result sometimes of a psychological issue that often people aren't even aware that they're carrying. And I've got a brilliant doctor who we're interviewing who regularly, when he's dealing with patients, this is one of the places he looks to unhinge that psychological link that people aren't even aware that it's there. It can be part of the root of what's causing physical symptoms. So I'm really excited to be sharing this. I'm excited to be continuing specifically around this topic because it's such a kind of unexplored area. Please stay tuned and I'll see you at the end of the video. How important is the kind of psychological aspect of if we're developing physical symptoms, or like how important is that in kind of looking at that to get
in my experience, the amplitude of any symptom is of course greatly modified by the psychological underpinnings that are really behind every symptom and every condition and medicine. The reason that's overlooked is that modern psychology, as it's taught in the universities, is quite ineffective in actually getting to the depth of the psychological causes of chronic illness and chronic symptoms. And so we developed a set of tools to get deep into the psychology of the patient. That means tools that can get into the early childhood development, the time in the womb, the time around birth, or even at the time of conception or beyond. That's usually where the major causes of illness are. In medicine there is no context for that in terms of epimutations, epigenetic changes that put in motion. For example, if a grandfather has been traumatized in a war, that leads to changes how his genes are transcribed, and that's passed on to his children and to the grandchildren, and then the grandchildren may get high blood pressure, diabetes, chronic fatigue based on that. And so you need a psychological method that can actually track back to their grandfather. So we developed that. It's called APN, Applied Pyschoneuro Biology. And with that tool we have discovered that especially there's no symptom that cannot be improved or gotten rid of with finding the underlying psycho-emotional, spiritual issues. Maybe last thing I like to say, whenever an illness looks physical, like diabetes, blood pressure, insomnia, chronic fatigue, chronic pain, usually most of it is caused by psychological issues that are unresolved. If an illness looks psychological, like somebody has manic behavior or chronic depression or schizophrenia or anorexia, usually the causes of those illnesses are purely physical. The zinc deficiency, toxicity in the brain, chronic infections, and so on and so forth.
Okay. If someone's stuck with a physical symptom and they've kind of gone down all the traditional routes that people know about, and they haven't got results or they haven't seen results, like where's the next place to look? Like where should they be looking?
Yeah, so first of all, we call these illnesses now chronic complex illness. They're becoming much more common, and usually when we interview patients that have seen a long list of practitioners, we find out that most of the patients have exhausted the physical level. They tried medical drugs, they tried vitamins, amino acids, minerals, and it hasn't worked, and then we need to look one level higher, which is usually the electromagnetic exposures. So we ask people carefully how much exposure they have at night and during the daytime to electromagnetic fields. I often make house calls myself still to go to people's homes and measure the microwave influence from the cell phone radiation, and often it's absolutely catastrophic what we find. And there's no way a patient's physical symptom can heal when the patient is exposed to an excessive amount of microwave, because it's inflammatory, it blocks your enzymes, your metabolic enzymes, it blocks your hormone production, it blocks your neurotransmitters. It's a disaster. And if that's not enough, then we go up one higher level, and then we look at the psychology of the patient, traumata, unresolved conflicts, family of origin issues, and bring some healing to that. And that usually is enough to turn most chronic illnesses back around.
Hey, if you like this video, we'd love a donation. You'll see in the description below this video, there's a little PayPal link. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel. You'll see the little bell, click on that, subscribe, and we'll be notifying you of our future videos. Thumbs up if you love the content.